The Explainer, The Trap at the Shrine of Savras. Let's jump straight into the explosive events of Session 7, where a desperate search for answers turns into an absolute fight for survival. If you've been following the journey of Boris, Wiffer, Radier, and Vetrovia, you know they've been battered, betrayed, and pushed to their absolute limits. But this session, man, this is where the tension just completely snaps.
What happens when a sanctuary of truth becomes a deadly trap? Just picture the scene. The party finally reaches the ruined shrine of Savras. Now, after literally everything they've been through, accidental deaths, discovering infernal pacts, they are desperate for some clarity, right? This shrine is supposed to be a safe haven, a place offering untainted truth. But as we're about to see, this sanctuary is hiding a remarkably dark and immediate secret.
The god of divination, fate, and truth. To really grasp the stakes here, we have to look at the divine weight of this specific location. Savras is the god of divination, fate, and truth, and that is exactly why the party traveled here. You've got Boris, our cleric, struggling with his shifting domains, Wiffer seeking the truth about his missing parents, Reader grappling with his inner demons, and Vetrovia on her secretive druidic mission. They absolutely needed the wisdom that only a deity of pure truth could provide.
Compare the facade of Father Orgo welcoming High Priest with the reality, a Talos imposter with an orc army outside. Now, what's really interesting about this is the massive disconnect they walk into. They are greeted by Father Orgo, who, honestly, plays the part of a welcoming high priest perfectly, but it's a complete facade. In reality, Father Orgo is an imposter. He's a cultist of Talos, the god of destruction. Our party has unwittingly walked straight into an ambush, and there's an entire army waiting just outside the shrine's walls.
For your eyes only, this shrine has been overtaken by the will of Talos. 20 or so orcs hide in the courtyards. That's a direct quote from Sister Langolin. The horrifying realization hits them right here. Sister Langolin is a captive nun who's essentially been holding the true essence of Savras' prophecies inside herself, and she manages to pass this secret written message to Raider. The words are just chilling. In a split second, this quiet, holy sanctuary instantly turns into a terrifying pressure cooker.
Whispered secrets and divine prophecies. So, what on earth do you do when you know you're trapped but the guards don't know that you know? Well, you act natural. The party is forced into this incredibly tense balancing act. They have to act like normal, unsuspecting guests for these Talos imposters while quietly unraveling massive, life-altering lore drops in the background from Sister Langolin. I mean, literally every whispered conversation could mean their death.
And only then, with power made one, will the Sword Coast see a new, brighter sun. That is the prophecy of the fused soul. During these tense whispers, Wiffer gets this absolutely crucial revelation. Remember, Wiffer is an Echo Knight, but his quote-unquote Echo is actually his twin sister Wifla. She carries an infernal heart, while he carries the radiant ASMR half. So his soul is literally divided across planar boundaries. This prophecy heavily hints that only by fusing this divided power can the Sword Coast be saved. It is a huge piece of the puzzle regarding his parents' secret research.
We also get clues for the Druid, a cryptic note in the Sorting Hat mentioning Neverwinter Woods, the Manse, the Trace, along with warnings of pocket dimension instability. Vetrovia finds this cryptic note inside her magical sorting hat, pointing her toward the Neverwinter Woods and somewhere called the Manse. But maybe more importantly, she gets a really dire warning. She's been keeping the party alive by hiding them in the moon energy pocket dimension of her back. Well, she's warned that continuing to abuse this chaotic dimensional magic for quick escapes is becoming dangerously unstable.
A god in the confessional. Okay, let's move to the climax of these quiet lore drops, which happens right in the backroom confessional. Boris, our deeply conflicted cleric, manages to pull off something incredible. Because of his closeness to divinity, he actually summons the literal god Savras for the first time in years. The deity manifests, but he's weak, having been completely cut off from his ransacked temple for so long. These lands sit on a powder keg that sits next to another powder keg like dominoes throughout dimensions. That's from Savras himself. And wow, this is a phenomenal revelation. Savras delivers this warning of absolute cosmic proportions. He reveals that the veil separating the mortal realm from the celestial and infernal realms is thinning. Devils and demons are getting reckless, and the party is sitting right at the pivot point of a coming apocalypse. The sheer scale of this threat is just mind-blowing. Savras' directives for Boris: beware the thinning veil between realms, understand the danger of bouncing between divine domains, accept the fate domain to balance the magic, and seek out the Talos worshipper Moesco. Knowing his time is incredibly short, Savras fires off these rapid-fire directives. He warns Boris that bouncing between different divine domains like Talos, Tamora, and Light is incredibly dangerous. It could literally shatter his soul. To stabilize him, Savras offers Boris the Fate domain. Boris accepts, giving him a staggering 4 active domains at once. But to find the real truth he hungers for, Savras gives him a specific target, a Talos worshipper named Moesco.
Tower of Storms, an old lighthouse on the Sword Coast remade into a temple to Talos by the blood ritualist Mozgo. Savras points Boris directly to the Tower of Storms. This is an old lighthouse out on the Sword Coast that this blood ritualist, Mozgo, has completely remade into a temple to the god of destruction. This firmly establishes a crucial goal for the party moving forward, but, before they can even think about traveling there, they have to survive the next 5 minutes.
The powder keg explodes, because right now, that powder keg Savras mentioned, it is about to literally explode in their faces. The quiet lore drops are over, the party realizes they've extracted all the info they can, the Talos cultists are closing in, and they need to execute an escape plan right this very second.
The chaotic escape plan goes like this. 1. Sog yields mental control. 2. Whiffer sucker punches Sog to reset the mind. 3. Regier regains control and lights the shrine on fire. And 4. The party hides in Vitrovia's pocket dimension. This whole sequence just brilliantly illustrates how wonderfully chaotic and tactical this party can be. So, Regier's body is currently being controlled by Sog, his demon monk alternate personality. But to create chaos, they need Regier's fiery magic. The problem? Sog can't just hand control back. So Whiffer literally sucker punches his own teammate to forcefully reset his mind. Regier snaps back, immediately lights the entire shrine on fire for a distraction, and the whole party dives straight into Vitrovia's pocket dimension to be carried out.
20. But here is the massive scale of the ambush waiting for them. 20 heavily armed orcs, alongside massive ogres, are standing in the courtyard waiting. As the shrine goes up in flames, the cultists realize the jig is up and they prepare to slaughter whatever comes running out of that burning building.
A botched flight to freedom. So the plan was for Whiffer, who is carrying Vitrovia's bag with everyone inside, to use his Aasimar celestial transformation, sprout wings, and fly them all to safety above the courtyard. But it is a totally botched flight to freedom. The absolute second Whiffer takes to the sky, the ambush is sprung. He gets critically hit by a barrage of magic missiles and archer fire. The damage is just too much, and it completely forces him to crash land before he can even escape the perimeter.
42. The most crucial point here is this ticking clock. Whiffer crash lands directly onto the burning roof of the shrine. His celestial flight transformation is fading fast. He has exactly 7 turns of flight remaining. Now in the mechanics of the game, a turn is 6 seconds, which leaves him with exactly 42 seconds. 42 seconds before his wings give out completely.
Trapped on a burning roof, surrounded by an army, and running out of time, how will the party survive? And that leaves us right at the cliffhanger of Session 7. Whiffer is isolated on a burning roof. His friends are trapped inside a highly unstable magical bag that he's carrying. Below him is a literal army of 20 orcs and ogres out for blood, and he has less than a minute of magic left. It's an impossible situation. You'll have to join us for the next explainer to find out how they make it out.